So if I was somebody that traveled on long road trips often, like frequently, I would highly recommend Starlink. So I believe that what's going on here is it's offline and somehow it's back like towards Moab or Blanding, the last town, back the other direction. And that's what's happening. It's saying going to arrive with 3%, which is fine. And in case you don't know, if you did get to 0, you supposedly have another 5%, and you would see dots pop up here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when you get to the last dot below 0, then you start panicking and worrying. But anyway, says we're going to arrive with 3%, but when you look at 28% and you tap it, it says you got 74 miles. So we're at 28%, saying we're going to arrive with 3, but 28% equals 74 miles, but it's only 35 miles. So I think what's going on is this is offline and it's not calculating right now. It just went up to 4%, right? So I think it under promises and over delivers. But let's see if I'm right. So it's saying we're going to arrive with 4%. So when we get to Kayenta, Arizona, let's see where we're at. Let's see what the reality is. Remember, it was at 3%, then it went to 4%. Now it's up to 6%. It's 15 minutes away. You can see the dot where the supercharger is. Watch this. The car will go off to the side. See it? See how it's going out over the yellow line just like you would if you were driving. Anyway, 16. We're at 18%, which would be, 48 miles. It's only 15 miles away. There's no way we're going to arrive at 6%. So what's happening is I skipped the previous supercharger way back in Blanding. I was like, I know I can make it to Kayenta, Arizona. I know I can make it. And I skipped it because, and the reason why you would do that on a road trip is because when your battery's low, it starts charging faster. So you get more efficient charging from 20% or below up to 80% than you do from 80% and above. So, if you start charging at 40%, you're charging slow anyway. So just skip it and go to the next one. And that's what I did. And I knew I could make it, but then it started warning me and telling me. First it said it was going to be negative 5%. So then I thought, well, maybe I messed up. Maybe I screwed up my calculations, or I wasn't thinking, or maybe I looked at something wrong. So then I thought, okay, well, let's just do the speed limit and go kind of slow. And then what I realized and what I think, this is just my theory, tell me in the comments if you know different. My theory is it was offline and we're out in the middle of nowhere. And so it was offline and it was based on an old calculation from the previous town or something. Maybe. I don't know. But you can tell it's saying 6%, we're at 17. There's no way that I'm going to arrive at 6%. It just can't be. So, we'll see in 1 minute. We'll see in 13 minutes. So here you are pulling in, 1 minute away. We're right there. Now it's up to 9%. So way back there, it was saying 0. Then it was 2, 3, 4. And jumped at. So now we've arrived at 9. And surprisingly, it actually is at 9. Interesting. So, yeah, I knew my initial judgment to skip the supercharger in Blanding that it suggested to stop at and go for it. My initial instinct was correct, but just realize don't panic, just think it through and remember to hit this And if it's like double the miles that it's saying that it's going to, the distance is, if this is saying you have double the miles that is needed to get there, relax, don't panic. Now, part of my situation is I have these really good tires, but they're heavier, they're bigger, the tread doesn't, right, they don't roll smooth. I don't have the tires that a normal person would put on, like probably that guy has. Michelin Cross Climates is what I use for all non-freezing weather, and then from November to April I do Michelin X Ice, and neither one roll very good. But anyway, there's that. Don't panic, and that's that. Come on, 1,000 miles an hour, and that's what I was going for by skipping the one that it suggested, right? It's gonna start charging usually at 1,065 miles an hour.